All right, here we go. This message is to Mike. Hi Kurt, we've spoken a few times on Facebook and I've been reluctant to ask this advice of you, but it's something I think you understand and would have good insight on. I've seen all your videos, wow, including your most recent one. I think you always have good things to say. Thank you. I'm 24 years old and I was the one that sent you this video, gives the name of the video, via Facebook message. Thank you for that video, by the way. To make it short, my family has never supported me to the extent I would have liked them to, and my father is the only one who has been there by my side for everything. I've witnessed him go through everything just like he has for me, and he's been having bad heart issues. I know that time is short, and as we speak, he's in the emergency room because I think he may have been having a stroke. I stayed on the phone with him up until he got to the ER. My question is, how do I deal with the loss of my dad? To be honest, once he leaves, I fear I will be completely on my own because my entire family just doesn't see things clearly. My sister won't even speak to my father, and the idea of death doesn't change anything, in her opinion either. I just don't think anyone, much less a parent, deserves to die having their son or daughter just let them pass on without ever saying goodbye or respecting the fact that they're their parent, regardless of the past. My mom has treated me terrible all my life and has always made me feel like I have no self-worth. I've even not spoken to her many times in the past too. But I'm older now, and I know that's not the right thing. Parents will always be your parents no matter what. And to not acknowledge that shows a lack of respect for the life given to them. In my opinion, I'm not religious, and I don't want people telling me that everything happens for a reason too. I value all the advice you give because you give it in a way for people to make decisions on their own based on what life experience has taught you. You never act like you have all the answers, and I think that's important. Yeah, I certainly don't. I'm sure you know the importance of family as I do, and not ever feel like I have, as do I, and to not ever feel like I have that support is extremely hard. I don't know what I'll do when my dad moves on. I'm waiting to hear how things are going in the ER right now because he may be there overnight. I apologize, this email is long, and I hope that I've got my question or advice that I'm seeking across. Things are just tough for me now. So much has happened that can't even all fit in an email. Thank you for your time, and I always enjoy your videos, Michael. You know, your message, the first reaction is emotional from me. You know, and I sent you a pretty long email. I think I pretty much gave you the answer that I can give in the email that I sent you, but I wanted to follow up in video format because I don't know how to convey it to you, but I was really touched by your situation. You seem like a sensitive man, and you're very young, and you seem to have a good grasp of values that you're going to be using in your life, and I think they're going to serve you well. And you're about to find yourself on your own. And in my email I shared, I'll share it now for others, but in the first response I gave you, I shared about my own experience of how I lost my father suddenly. I was older than you, but I lost him suddenly, and he was the only grounding force other than my brother and my wife. But my brother and my wife being my peers was kind of different because they were, you know, we can't really rely on one another in the same way. Not quite like a parent where, you know, you can go to your parent and it's almost like, you know, gives you advice and, what is the word, succor? You know, you know, it's like the nurture kind of a thing. It doesn't come with a sibling or a friend, not the same way. And once you lose your parents, that's pretty much gone for good. Even if you find someone older than you who is helpful. I've had people like that in my life. It's not quite the same. Just isn't, because you know, I was always my dad's kid. You know, I was always Grizzly's son. And when he was gone, that was the end of that. And I was on my own. And you're about, well, I shouldn't say it that way. But based on your email, it sounds like your father is having a hard time, and you may be experiencing that shortly. And you're like another viewer who wrote to me recently, and I made a video response that I linked to you. I shared with you. The video response is called Living as a Castaway. And I think I like to recommend that video to you if you haven't seen it already. because it basically it's the same advice I'd give you in that regard. And like I've been starting to give a lot of people now, I've been referring them to my the Path of Wildness page. And I do that for a very specific reason, because a lot of the people write to me have the same thing. They're going through, or they're about to go through, a difficult challenge, and they want advice on how to get through it. And I can't really tell you how to get through any particular situation, but I can talk to you about the mechanism of willpower and resolve, and how to muster strength and take action when you don't seem to have a good idea about what to do. And I do this through what I call the course of our first inclination, with that what you feel. You're at a crossroads, and left or right. What do I do? Left or right make a huge difference on the path of what's going to happen. And now in the past, you would have asked your father, left or right, Dad, and you would have gotten some good advice, and or at least some comforting advice. And there was times that my dad gave me advice that turned out to be so-so advice, but it really helped me along. It got me moving, at least, right? And then I could make course corrections along the way. And I want you to have the same thing now, in terms of a mechanism by which you can overcome this stalemate in your mind and just make a movement. Not necessarily the best movement always, but at least a movement, and then start course corrections. Because once you've got it going, you're in better shape. Like today, I really didn't want to come to the beach. I didn't want to go on a long bicycle ride today, but the weather was great, and I was busy all morning. I was at home, and I told my wife, I said, I just want to stay home. I don't want to go out. And she said, once you go, you'll be glad you did. She said, once you get out on your bicycle and ride, a quarter of a kilometer down the road, you'll be on your way. And she's absolutely right. I'm having a great time. I'm at the beach. I'm not tired anymore. I'm doing some hopefully something good, maybe talking to other people via this way. And my wife was right. And I want you to be able to do the same thing. So I'm going to recommend the video, Living as a Castaway, and I'm going to recommend my essay, The Path of Wildness. And I know it sounds strange to be recommending all my own stuff, but I made these things specifically as an attempt to help people, and they basically have the same message. It's the same thing wrapped up. It's all about breaking inertia and getting started, creating a new inertia on your own, and finding a way to muster your will into that direction. Likewise, there's other resources you can look at. I recommend Henry David Thoreau's Walden essays such as Self-Reliance, Walking, things like that. These are very, very good examples of how a young person, or any person, can take control of their life and move on. And you're not completely alone. And it sounds like you've got other people in your life, and I'm here too. I can't be the same thing that anybody else, like in your family or father or anything like that. But it means a lot to me. I take the correspondence that I get very seriously. That's why it took me so long to get back to you. I needed time to think about it, and to got a moment to do this. But if you send me an email, send me on Facebook like you did. I'll get back to you. Let me know how things are going along the way. If you feel a little bit lonely or uncertain, just let me know, and I'll be happy to share with you what I can. Okay? It means a lot to me to have a chance to interact with young people that are people who are demonstrating virtue and strength and a will to take their lives into their own hands and move forward. And I'm glad I can have a chance to help you in any way that I can. Take care, friend. I'll put the links to the things I talked about below down in the description for anybody else that might be interested. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.